Breaking news.
I have new merch. I've got this new one designed by my good friend Michael Shantz. It says, "Hell yeah, brother."
Hell yeah, brother.
And the Listen to New Metal shirt, as well as all my other designs. And you can check all of those out at the link in the description of this video. All right, my friends, it's time for another episode of What is Ronnie Radke Up to Today? Because you know, just as well as I do, that anytime Ronnie Radke or MGK or Corey Taylor does something, every single YouTuber in the world, including me, we're all going to scramble to talk about it because we are all desperate for views. I need to just formally thank Ronnie, MGK, and Corey for basically being the trough that all of us YouTuber trash eats from. Without you guys, we would all be nothing. We exist only by your good graces. And I just want to formally say thank you. We're truly bottom-feeding trash. Now, today, we're here to talk about the latest episode of Ronnie's antics. I don't know if antics is even the right word, but maybe it is. From our friends at Loudwire, Laptop Gate. That's what this is. Ronnie Radke, Laptop Gate. Ronnie Radke calls out Eddie Trunk over missing laptop comments. Sebastian Bach fires back. Should have said Sebastian Bach fires Bach. By the way, I did not know who Eddie Trunk was until like 6 months ago. I guess he's like some guy on Sirius XM. I don't know who he is. Here's the story. Falling Universe pulled out of this festival after their laptops go missing.
Will Rock, I regret to inform you that we have to cancel and we have no other option. I'm sorry, and I never make videos like this, but I feel like I owe it to you guys. So we show up to rehearsal. We only plan to rehearse one time because we just got off tour. We don't need to rehearse that much. And we walk into rehearsals and our laptops are missing that we run all of our show on and stuff. And as in a band in 2022, you need your laptops, you know, it's like driving a car without an engine, you know what I mean? It's really unfortunate. Supposedly they are lost. Blame it on our crew, I guess. I don't know how that happened. That's never happened before. Pretty upset about it. They're brand new laptops, and I'll see you guys at Aftershock.
So essentially what happened here is that someone in the Falling Universe crew misplaced their laptops. And as Ronnie said, you know, pretty much, I don't want to say like every band these days, but most bands these days use laptops. As he said, as a band in 2022, you need your laptops like driving a car without an engine. It's kind of true. What they use them for, just so that everybody knows, is for playing the backing tracks and sometimes for controlling lights or scene changes on like an Axe Effects. So for example, if there's a part in the song where the guitar like changes from a clean tone to a dirty tone, the laptop might control that. It might also, like if they have samples or like, let's say there's an orchestra in a song. Well, you're not going to bring an orchestra on tour, right? So you got to play the backing track somehow, or in the case of Falling Universe, they have a lot of like, you know, rap type parts with beats and electronic parts and stuff like that. That's what Falling Universe uses them for. And if you're familiar with their music, you know, they legitimately can't play without those backing tracks because they have a lot of like 808s and stuff like that in their music. There would be no way for them to play without that stuff. Now, apparently, one of their crew members, I guess they sent the laptops to like the wrong show or something like that. They made a mistake. I don't know. But that apparently is what happened, and they canceled the show because of that. This guy, Eddie Trunk, was upset about it. A Sirius XM host, somebody in the chat said that he was on That Metal Show. I'm not 60 years old, so I don't listen to Sirius XM, and I never watched That Metal Show back in the day. I remember it, but never listened to it. So I don't know who Eddie Trunk was, but other than a guy who seems to have some startlingly bad opinions. So here's what Eddie Trunk said. "This is astonishing. First, I heard about this. I thought it was a joke to wind me up. How much longer are fans, promoters, and the media just going to accept the epidemic of live rock shows not really being live? Paying your hard-earned money to see a band play live that's not truly live? There are countless bands in 2022 that hone their craft and play live. Tons, old and new, including the one that subbed in for them in their slot, Jackal. No laptops needed there." Let's talk about Jackal really quick, because I am shocked that this band even still exists. And let me tell you how fucking bad this band is. They had like sort of a minor hit song back in the early 90s called The Lumberjack with a chainsaw solo in it. This is the band that Eddie Trunk is holding up as an example of good music. Hell yeah. Play that chainsaw, baby. This is what Eddie Trunk says is great music. Anybody remember when they made real music like this? Not that mumble rap, auto-tune crap like Falling in Reverse? Who else likes real music like Jackal? Where's the chainsaw solo? I'm not joking. This song literally has a chainsaw solo in it. Here it is. There it is. Well, my thought is, what if Jackal left their chainsaw on the bus or something? Would they cancel their show just because they didn't have the chainsaw? Hell no. They would play that show without their chainsaws because unlike Falling in Reverse, Jackal is real rock and roll. I'm just kidding. Jackal is easily one of the worst, like, shitty boomer, like, butt rock bands of all time. This song is absolutely horrible, and it says a lot about who this Eddie Trunk guy is that he apparently holds them up as an example of great music. Anyhow, this is just unreal, but at least I give them credit for being honest. Wow, I am closer than ever to launching my own band, and I can't sing or play a note. Simply amazing. The radio host would then go on to tout Aerosmith's live abilities. Trunk's commentary then yielded a response from Radke on social media. Here's what Eddie Trunk said on Instagram. In a week where we actually saw a band cancel a show because their fucking laptops were down, I'm watching a real live raw rock band that's been around 50 plus years with a 76-year-old lead singer kill on stage. Rock and roll like it should be. Thank you, Aerosmith. This Eddie Trunk guy doesn't look that much older than me. Just like, imagine singing the praises of Aerosmith of all bands. Imagine that. But Ronnie being Ronnie, he had to hop on Twitter and fire back. So here's what he said. You want to talk hella shit about laptops, but go watch Kiss lip sync. Steven Tyler plays the piano. Then halfway through the song, he stands on top of the piano while it still plays. Yet here we are acting like they don't all use tracks, you fucking idiot, literal moron. So what Ronnie is saying is like, yes, we use backing tracks, so does every band. I can't comment specifically on Aerosmith or Kiss, but I would be willing to bet that they use tracks live, and that's not like a bad thing necessarily. They're there to put on a show, not necessarily to play every note exactly the way you hear it on the album, right? And if Steven Tyler does get up there and play the piano, you know, note for note, just like he does in the album, that's cool. But maybe he just said, you know what, if I have to play the piano, I'm not going to put on a very good show, so we're just going to use a backing track for it. And if he did say that, I think that's fine. You know, you're there to put on a show, not necessarily perform every single note. Morgoth says, it's funny that so many people are just realizing that bands use tracks. I mean, it's been going on for a long fucking time. I couldn't say exactly how long, but I remember seeing it like 10 years ago. I saw Volumes and they had like guitar backing tracks. And if Volumes was doing it, I'm sure lots of other bands were doing it way before that. There was a video where Kiss's drummer fucks up and Paul Stanley's vocals play and he's not even near the mic. I'm sure this shit happens all the time, you know? Ronnie had to go in. Had to keep going in. That was not enough for Ronnie. So he says, Eddie Trunk, you got a podcast. That shit better not have tracks and be all live. If you aren't using full analog, you're a poser. I want to see you like this picture. If not, shut your stupid, I don't know, you literal dinosaur. Later, continuing to fire back at Trunk, Ronnie offered, I have the best drummer, 3 insanely great singers, and 2 great lead guitars that all play very well. These fools acting like we're all just dancing around the stage to tracks not playing. Ronnie makes a good point here. For anybody who's not familiar, this is Luke Holland, who plays drums for Falling in Reverse. And he is absolutely one of the fucking best in the scene. He's a fucking monster. The point is that Ronnie consistently has absolutely great musicians in his band. I remember when Jackie Vincent played guitar. I mean, I think Ronnie's point stands here. Like, this is not a case of like NSYNC or whoever, you know, fill in the blank pop band, you know, just lip syncing to backing tracks. They're legitimately great fucking musicians. It's just actually impossible to play the sort of stuff that they play live. because, like Ronnie says, they have so many tracks and stuff. Now, Sebastian Bach of Skid Row, which I got to point this out. I know this is a long time ago. Just got to remind everybody, Sebastian Bach is the man who got in a little bit of hot water back in the day for wearing this shirt, which says AIDS kills F-words dead. It was a long time ago, but anytime he wants to get up on his high horse, I do think it's kind of funny to bring that up. And Skid Row, for anybody who's not familiar, this is his band. Beautiful man and a very good singer. Beautiful man. I mean, I would unashamedly make out with prime Sebastian Bach. He was pretty. Is there any straight man watching this that wouldn't get down with prime Sebastian Bach? You would, right? Anyhow, so for anyone who's not familiar, that's who Sebastian Bach is. Sebastian Bach joined in somehow or another, and this is pretty funny. Ronnie somehow found this video. Here's Eddie Trunk introducing Sebastian Bach using tracks. Both idiots talking shit about me using tracks. Can't make this shit up. It is pretty clear watching this that there's some backing tracks.
That's better. Give it up for Sebastian Bach.
Now watch this. Watch this here. It's clearly fake cheering in a minute and fake drums. Fake cheering, fake drums. You can hear the drums go like da-da, da-da. He's not even touching his drums. And totally fake cheering too. Ronnie kept going. You know, I will say, you know, I like Ronnie, but maybe it's better for him to let some of these things go. Let's put it that way. Although I do want a laugh track. I agree. I am also full of shit, just like Sebastian Bach. I need a laugh track because how else will you guys know when I say something funny? If I don't play a laugh track, you guys won't know when to laugh, right? So I feel like that would be a disservice. Just be doing a disservice to all of you if I didn't use a laugh track. I'm a chef for weddings, and all those DJs use fake cheering and yells, and guess what? It fucking works to let people have a good time. There you go. Hey, look, I think that's a totally valid point. Sebastian Bach is there to put on a show and for people to have a good time. And if it makes his fans get stoked to hear fake cheers, so what? Who cares? But it is kind of funny for him to get up on his high horse about that. Now, here's Sebastian Bach. How old is Sebastian Bach? 54 years old, beefing with Ronnie Radke, who's 39 years old. Wow, dummy, are you trying to say that you believe that I use tracks on stage? Eddie Trunk, how effing funny is this? And like Ronnie points out, like, obviously, that's a fake audience cheering you in, your intro tracks, and also fake drums. The fuck you mean? That shit isn't real. You're using a fake audience cheering as you walk out on a fucking track. Hence, you using tracks. So Ronnie's right about that. And then Ronnie goes in. The fuck is your bitch ass gonna do? You disrespect an entire generation of people after you that use synths, laptops, and backing tracks, all the while using a fake audience on a track as you watch out. Fuck you and fuck Eddie Trunk's bitch ass. At the same time, you have an entire generation that once admired you until your dumb ass disrespected all of them. We get it. You don't like bands that use backing tracks, but it's okay for you to walk out to a fake audience cheering the fuck out of here. It is a fucking bummer that this man we all once loved is literally disrespecting an entire generation of bands. You get a lot of people that grew up listening to you, but you should be ashamed of yourself. Shit changes, so do people. The fuck is your problem? I feel like Ronnie kind of said the same thing 3 times. Probably could have just said it once. Bach then served up a video of rock music. Here it is. Sebastian Bach goes full Facebook boomer. Ladies and gentlemen, children of the internet, witness a video. This is called rock music. No computers, hashtag no tapes, hashtag no fakes, no falling in reverse, just about 3 weeks of vocal training and 3 friends on stage. If you spent your life playing music, that's all you need. This is some Guns N' Roses festival from years ago. I agree. To be fair, Ronnie showed Bach some respect in a way. Bach went full boomer. Ronnie hammered in a little too hard. I agree with both of those. Then here's some show that Sebastian Bach played with a laptop and tracks. Now, apparently this was deleted. But Bach at one point tweeting, then deleting a message that said, "It's always so much fun to show someone what the world was like before the internet existed. Get effing ready. Virtual reality is so much fun until you have to deal with actual reality in your face. Can't wait to meet you in person. Name the time and place, and I will introduce you to rock and roll in person, man. I'm sure that Ronnie Radke, who went to prison for several years and is a pretty big dude, I'm sure he's terrified of 54-year-old Sebastian Bach. I find it all just kind of embarrassing. Like, grown men, starting fights, threatening each other on Twitter over backing tracks. I find the whole thing kind of embarrassing. But Sebastian Bach was wise to delete that tweet because Ronnie's the kind of guy, you never know. Probably shouldn't be getting in fights at his age, but you never know. So then Ronnie... These are pretty funny. Sebastian Bach makes his drummer stare at this because using a computer is cheating. Sebastian Bach sending a tweet and then there's a picture of a carrier pigeon. Sebastian Bach on the way to showing what real rock and roll is with a biplane. Sebastian Bach driving to 7-Eleven in a stagecoach. Sebastian Bach catching me outside the Excalibur Hotel and Casino after his set next to the blackjack tables. Now that's a pretty good one. He roasted him. Sebastian Bach waking up reading his mentions. It's Hector Salamanca from Better Call Saul. Sebastian Bach, Eddie Trunk, and any other literal clown. I guess Queen isn't rock and roll since in 1986 they used full tracks to play Bohemian Rhapsody and walked off stage. Let's see this. Haven't seen this. It's true. This is them playing full tracks. After a bit of a break, Ronnie started dissecting other parts of Bach's arguments, pointing to the fact that laptops were actually around in the early 80s. I mean, now here they're arguing about when laptops came out. Like, laptops weren't invented in 1986, though. Then Ronnie replies with a screenshot of Wikipedia proving that laptops were actually around in 1984. And I'm like, now, I mean, guys, come on. You guys are grown men arguing about what year laptops came out. Come on, guys. If you guys can't handle Twitter, I'm going to take it away. I'm taking away your phones. If you guys can't be nice, I'm taking them away. I will stop this car and I will turn it around right now, boys. You are cruising for a bruising. Ronnie, Sebastian, I don't care whose fault it was. I expect you guys to get along, okay? No more malarkey from either of you two, boys. That's enough. I've had it up to here with the malarkey. Okay, boys? No more malarkey. Gosh darn it. A lot of arguing about, what year the laptops came out, all this stuff. So there's all of that. And then Phil from All That Remains chimes in. The fact that Sebastian Bach is mad that bands use modern technology to enhance the show and bring the best possible night of entertainment for the concert goer is hilarious to me. Ronnie Radke is right, my dude. Jason from All That Remains and Chelsea Grin and stuff agrees as well, sort of pointing out that it's impossible to do sort of a lot of modern shows without laptops and without backing tracks. Craig Reynolds from Stray from the Path rounding out the conversation regarding the Falling Universe pulled out of a show because their laptops failed. I know you guys love a pile-on, but you're fully tripping if you think most of today's metalcore bands wouldn't have to do the same thing. Not just metalcore, all kinds of bands. So a couple things to think about here. Number one, obviously a bit embarrassing that both of these guys chose to spend their precious time on Earth arguing about laptops on Twitter. A little bit sad. Yeah, I agree with this. I think Ronnie should care less about these 50-year-old men's opinions. I agree with that. However, Ronnie is right at the end of the day. He is right that that's just sort of the nature of the beast with modern music. And it's not just metalcore or whatever. It's like all of these bands. I don't know about Aerosmith and Queen and blah, 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 but I would bet you that almost every band now is using a laptop for something. So Ronnie is right about that. And it just doesn't matter. Like, it's not important. Like, all this should matter is when you went to the show, did you have fun? That's what matters, because they're not necessarily here to play every note exactly the way you heard it on the record, using exactly the same instruments and blah, 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 especially for bands like he mentions, a sitar and a taiko drum and stuff. What are you going to do? Bring all that stuff out on tour? You're not. So at the end of the day, what you're here to do is put on a show. And if using laptops helps you do that, then so be it. And if laptops existed, 30 years ago, bands would have used them then too, or whenever they existed. They can argue about that. If laptops existed 50 years ago, do you think the Beatles would have used laptops? I absolutely guarantee that they would have. Every musician is just going to use whatever technology is at their disposal to put on the best show they can. Yeah, embrace tech or die in a tar pit. To me, it's just another one of these examples of these rock boomers. I don't get it, man. These rock boomers seem to just hate anything new. When are we going to stop elevating all these like fossil bands from the 70s and 80s as like the last example of like real music? This is the equivalent of those Justin Bieber memes that's like, music then and it's Queen, music now, Justin Bieber. What the fuck happened? And it's just embarrassing and sad that there are still these boomers out there that feel this way. Also, I do like Ronnie, and he's right, but I gotta say, Ronnie, if you happen to be watching this, maybe just, put down the Twitter sometimes. I will say this. I have gotten in many embarrassing arguments in my comments with people about things that I totally shouldn't have. So I will admit that I have been guilty of this too. And thinking about it, it's really embarrassing. I'm like, why did I let this person get to me so much? Like, why did I waste my time replying to this person? Why didn't I just fucking let that go? Very embarrassing on my part. So Ronnie, if you happen to be watching this, that is my advice. Just let it go. Who gives a shit what Eddie Trunk and Sebastian Bach think? 99% of your audience probably doesn't even know who the fuck these people are and certainly don't care what they think. So that is my take on the situation. Ronnie Radke versus the Rock Boomers. I'll declare it a split decision. The judges scored 29-28 in favor of the new and reigning champ. He's both, Ronnie Radke. Okay. Well, those are my thoughts on Laptop Gate 2022. Breaking news, Laptop Gate 2022.